Hi everyone, welcome back. So definitely we've made a lot of changes to this gun, and we've done a lot of testing, and today is no different. So what we're going to test today is using a bipod versus using a sandbag. And many guys use a sandbag in front. Some have a special rest at the front that's adjustable. Those adjustable rests are very expensive. And if you look at many of the modern day shooters, the guys shooting the FXs and stuff like that, many of them are using a bipod. I do think that both of them have their place, especially if you look at some of the higher end Benchrest rifles. Some of them are fairly heavy, and when you're using something heavy and a sandbag or specially designed rest, then definitely they can work together, make no mistake. However, because our gun is quite a bit lighter, I think that the bipod will actually work better for us. The reason for that is that the bipod is going to add a little bit of weight, so it's going to give us more stability whilst we're shooting, but at the same time, by adding weight, we are able to reduce the recoil. And I'll get into the recoil a little bit later, because obviously there's not a lot of recoil on this, but I'll get into that discussion a little bit later on. But today we're going to test using a bipod, and let's see how it goes. So a couple of factors that I want you to consider when choosing to use a bipod or choosing to use a bag. So many shooters use a bag, make no mistake, and there's nothing wrong with using a bag. However, I think there is something that you need to consider. So if you think about it logically, let me see if I can just demonstrate this. So if you've got your gun on a bag like this, what can happen in between shots is you can slightly cant your rifle left or right. In other words, we don't have our rifle dead plumb. It can be to the left or to the right. Have a look at this short video. Watch how the gun moves left and right as he moves the front bag. This is something we want to try and avoid. And the way that you can avoid this is by putting on a bubble level here on your scope. And there is more fancy things that the guys use for especially very long range shooting. But I think for 25-meter bench rest, a bubble should be sufficient. So you use the bubble to avoid cant. But in our case, the reason I want to use the bipod is because we're going to kind of eliminate that cant, because once we've got the bipod set up, what's actually happening, we've got a stable base here in front, but it's kind of like fixed. So the angle on this is not going to change in between shots. And yes, cant at 25 meters shouldn't make a massive difference. However, because we're shooting with something that's going fairly slow, the cant will have a bigger effect. And apart from that, the other difference is we're going to make adjustments that are not necessarily necessary at the time when we're shooting. So I definitely think for our purposes, the bipod is going to work better. So let's shoot a scorecard with a bipod, and then we'll come back and discuss if it's helped us, if it hasn't helped us, and it can, as long as it can help you make your decision when you're busy setting up your rifle for Benchrest shooting. So let's shoot that card and see what happens. Alright, so by using the bipod, we were able to break the 200 mark. So very happy about that. I thought we would have been able to break the 200 mark a bit sooner, but it is what it is. So definitely we did, it wasn't a perfect scorecard by any means, but we starting to develop a bit more consistency in the scorecard. And I think apart from shot number 21, where we were quite off to the right, we had a fairly good scorecard, with most of them being inside that first dark ring. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Definitely, I think that using the bipod over the Sandbag for the CP2 specifically is definitely the way to go. Till next time, happy shooting, see you around.